Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to your social science class. Today we are going to do the second part of the chapter power sharing. Students, in our last video, we have already done two case studies. One is about Belgium and the other one is about Sri Lanka. Last day I explained to you that what was the ethnic diversity in Belgium, okay, and how the rich and the prosperous French, they dominated the Dutch in spite of being majority in number in the country Belgium. Okay, I also told you about Sri Lanka. I told you that how the Sinhalas, being a clear majority in the country, how after winning the election in the year 1948, how they formed the government and how they declared Buddhism as the official religion as well as Sinhalese as the official language of Sri Lanka. Okay, now today I am going to tell you that how Belgium solved their problem of ethnic diversity. Okay. Now, see children, to solve their problem of ethnic diversity or to solve their problem of civil disorder within the country, Belgium adopted the policy of accommodation. What did Belgium adopt? Belgium adopted the policy of accommodation. Okay. Now, between the year 1970 and 1993, the Belgium government or Belgium, it amended means changed, okay. They changed the laws in the constitution almost 4 times. They made changes in the constitution of Belgium almost 4 times. Okay, and finally the constitution was set up. Okay, now I am going to tell you that how powers were divided in the constitution of Belgium. See children, what happened in Belgium was the number of French ministers and the number of Dutch ministers were kept equal in the central government. Okay, and it was also decided that none of them could take the decisions unilaterally. Means whatever decision was supposed to be taken, that has to be taken by both the Sinhalese as well as by both the Dutch as well as by the French. None of them could unilaterally take the decision. Okay. Now, secondly, some of the powers of the central government were also shifted to the state government. Some of the special powers of the central government were given to the state government. Now, why was this decision taken? Actually, sometime it may happen that the state government may become inferior to the central government. Okay, so that it does not happen like that, some of the powers of central government were shifted to the state government so that they both remain equally powerful and they both are able to work independently without staying in clash with each other. Okay. And the third was Belgium also formed a third form of government. What was that third form of government? It was known as community government. What was it known as, children? It was known as community government. So this was the problem, this was the method of accommodation that was adopted by Belgium. And see children, and as soon as this method of accommodation was adopted by Belgium, there was no more problem in Belgium. Okay, the communal violences came to an end between the French as well as between the Dutch. Okay, but in case of Sri Lanka, if we find, in case of Sri Lanka, the majoritarian government did not take any step, okay, and the majoritarian government gave more importance to the Sinhalese instead of giving some importance to the Tamils, okay, and as a result what happened, the Tamils, they started feeling alienated within their own country, and as a result what happened, the civil riots or civil violence or communal violences, it prevailed in Sri Lanka. Okay, so this is the case study of Sri Lanka and Belgium. Okay, now today I am also going to tell you about the desirability of power sharing, or why we need power sharing in a country. So children, there are two reasons for which we need power sharing, or for which power sharing is desirable. What are the two reasons? First are prudential reasons, second are the moral reasons. Okay. So first we will study about the prudential reasons. So what are the prudential reasons behind power sharing? See students, power sharing reduces the chances of conflicts between the different communities. It may be between different religion or between different ethnic groups. It reduces the chances of conflict as power is divided between the two communities or two religious groups. Okay, this is the first reason. Second is, it is also a very good way by which the government can ensure a political stability within the country. Because if there is no power sharing within any particular country, if the conflict goes on for years long, then it may happen that the government never stays stable. Okay, it would keep on changing as it won't be able to handle the situation and the government won't be acceptable by the people. Okay, so it helps in maintaining political stability among the government. Okay, not only that, it also prevents the government from becoming an autocratic one, as power sharing helps in checking and balancing the organs of the government. Okay, it also helps in checking and balancing the organs of the government. As a result, the government cannot become an autocratic one. So, these are the prudential reason. One more reason is there, that is, once power sharing is there, it prevents the majority from suppressing the minorities. Okay, once power sharing is there, the majorities are no more able to suppress the minorities. Okay, so these are the prudential reason behind power sharing. Okay, now we are going to study the moral reasons of power sharing. What is the first moral reason behind power sharing? First is, it is the very spirit of democracy, or you can say power sharing is one of the major feature of a democratic government. Without power sharing, a democratic government is meaningless. Okay, or you cannot call the government as democratic. Now, next is, it also helps the government to maintain equality. Okay, there is equality and balance among the different organs of the government, or it helps the government to maintain equality within the country. Not only that, it also helps the government to become transparent or legitimate about every task of its. Okay, once the government has power sharing, okay, the organs of the government becomes automatically legitimate or transparent. Okay, so these are the prudential reason and the moral reasons behind power sharing, or these are the reason for which power sharing is desirable. Now I will tell you about the different forms of power sharing in a democracy. See students, there are 4 forms of power sharing in a democracy. What are the 4 forms of power sharing in a democracy? First is horizontal power sharing. What is horizontal power sharing? When power is shared among the different organs of the government. What are the different organs of the government? Legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, now when power is shared among these three organs of the government, that is called power sharing, or that is called horizontal power sharing. Now how is power shared among these three organs of the government? See children, exactly as you have different body parts or different organs in your body, and all the organs have a respective function to perform. Similarly, our government also has three organs. What are the three organs of the government? Legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, and these three organs have their respective functions to perform. First, we will talk about legislature. What is their function? Their function is to formulate the policy, or you can say that the function of legislature is formulation of policy, or they make laws for us. Second is, what is the task of the executive? The task of the executive is implementation of the policies, or you can say children that they applies the law on the citizen. The laws that has been formulated by the legislature are applied on us by the executive. So what about the judiciary? Judiciary has been kept as an independent body. Okay, judiciary has been kept as an independent body separate from the other two organs of the government. Okay, so that it can work for social welfare, or so that it can work for public benefit. What does the judiciary do? The judiciary justifies those laws that are made by the legislature and implemented by the executive. The judiciary looks into the matter that whether those laws that has been formulated by the legislature are for public benefit or not. If it is not for public benefit, what does the judiciary do? The judiciary asks the legislature to change or to amend that particular law. Okay, so this is what we known as horizontal power sharing. I am repeating it once again. When power is shared among the three organs of the government, that is called horizontal power sharing. Now, what is the second form of power sharing is vertical power sharing. What is vertical power sharing? When power is shared among the government at different level, that is called vertical power sharing. What do you mean by different level? There are two levels of the government. First is central level and the other is state level. The central level is also known as union level and the other is state level. Okay, when power is shared among the central government and the state government, that is called vertical power sharing. It is also, you can also term it as a federal form of government. Okay, that is called power sharing. Now, or vertical power sharing. Now, what is the third form of power sharing? When power is shared among the different political parties and the pressure group, that is the third form of power sharing. Now, how power is shared among the political parties and the pressure groups? See children, the party which wins the election forms a government, okay, and the party which loses the election, they works as a pressure group. Pressure groups means what? They works as an opposition. Okay, they checks and balances the power of the ruling party or the government. Okay, so in this way there is again a power sharing among the ruling party or the political party and among the pressure groups. Okay, now the fourth form of power sharing is power sharing among the different social groups. When power is divided among the social groups, then chances of conflicts are very less in a country. Okay, so this is all about the chapter power sharing. Okay, That's all for today. Thank you so much.